joining us for the evening. We are very happy to have you. All right, let's get started. Good evening. Welcome to DC Public School Year 2025-26 Back to School Information Session. My name is Lauren Brown, and I serve as the Deputy Chief of Family and Community Engagement here for DCPS. This evening, you will have the opportunity to hear from a lot of information from many of our colleagues here, and this information will set your family up for success in the upcoming school year. This evening, we will have two simultaneous sessions happening in Spanish and in American Sign Language. So we just want to thank you in advance for your patience as our speakers try our best to speak slowly, to take pauses, which will allow everyone the opportunity to fully access tonight's information. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce the Chancellor, Dr. Louis D. Farabee, to share highlights of what our students, educators, and Central Services employees have been up to all summer. Dr. Farabee?
Thank you, Deputy Chief Brown, and good evening, DC Public Schools. School year 2025-2026 is almost here, and we've been getting ready for another amazing school year across the district. Earlier today, I was at Phelps Ace High School with Mayor Bowser and some of the DC leadership team and city leaders welcoming back educators and staff during pre-service week. Our teachers have been hitting the ground running in preparation for a strong start to the school year. Being with the mayor today reminded me of something that she said once about the importance of family engagement. And that is, we know that we build strong family relationships, we have stronger school communities. And so thank you all for ensuring that we're off to a great start, that each of our 117 school communities are strong. And this evening, my colleagues and I will all share information about the start of the school year, so that we can get our scholars off to a great start. Members of our Central Services team will share important updates and ensure that our scholars are succeeding academically. They feel a connection to their school, because we know when they do, they're at their best, and that they're prepared for what's next, which are our strategic priorities. And so again, we want students thriving in English language arts and math, a sense of connection to their peers, the staff in their building, and then prepared for every transition in DC Public Schools going into success in the post-secondary space. But first, I want to share some of the highlights from DC Public Schools summer activities. We did a lot this summer, but we started the summer by concluding the 2024-2025 school year by celebrating the class of 2025. With 2,700 DCPS graduates and 23 graduation ceremonies across 4 different venues, we had a great time preparing students for what's next in the next chapter of their journey outside of DCPS. They received their diplomas. We enjoy celebrating them and can't wait to see what our graduates are going to accomplish. We've also been busy this summer throughout the summer months with learning for DCPS students. So across DCPS, we have more than 5,600 students participate in our summer learning experiences. We had over 50 students participate in our outdoor pursuits, which include exploring the nation capital through canoeing, hiking, and other outdoor activities. We also had 100 students plus who participate in our career and technical education summer enrichment activities, which includes gaining valuable skills and preparing them for the post-secondary space as well. And then Mayor Bowser and I visited Brooklyn Middle School's summer enrichment program last month, where we got a crash course from our scholars in robotics. And in addition to that, in our career and technical education space, I want you to know that we're so focused on preparing students for what's next that we've doubled the number of students from 3,000 to nearly 6,000 students in the past few years that are participating in our career and technical education programming. So we're excited about building on this momentum and preparing our students for career in college. And we look forward to expanding our career and technical education programming in the school year ahead for 2025 and 2026. I know top of mind for many of you right now might be another topic around law enforcement. So I want to transition to this topic because I know rightfully so, it's top of mind for many of our community members. The first thing I want you to know is that we expect much of what we do in our engagement with law enforcement to be the same for our students as we go into 2025, 26 school year. We know that there'll be increased law enforcement presence across our city, but we are confident they'll have minimum impact to our schools, and we want to ensure families understand our posture for the upcoming school year. First, you should know that all of our school leaders have been advised that student records are protected under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, and this information can only be shared with individuals based on parental consent or a lawful court order. Next, I also want you to know any law enforcement action on school grounds can only take place with a valid warrant or court order. If members of law enforcement come to a school, administrators are clear about what to do next. They are clear they need to notify their supervisor and also reach out to the DCPS Office of General Counsel for any assistance. This is similar to our posture from last school year as well. At this time, in relationship to the Metropolitan Police Department, any officers that will be reporting to campuses in response to schools will be Metropolitan Police Department officers. Our school resource officers are not performing any duties related to immigration or custom enforcement. We do not anticipate any changes to how MPD engages with our schools. So again, as I started, as it relates to law enforcement engagement, we anticipate it is business as usual in this regard. I also want to reiterate some of the best practices that we should talk with our students about as they prepare their journey to school, and want to make sure that we prepare them for success and also safety. Students are reminded to always travel in a group if they can, or with a friend, neighbor, or a trusted adult whenever possible. We also want them to avoid distractions while traveling, such as being on your phone, headphones, or other technology. Please advise our young people to stay aware of their surroundings. And lastly, Dr. Ashley will talk more about our Kids Ride Free program and the benefits for our students who have access to free public transit across the city. We want to make sure that students tap their WMATA cards, or if they're using their phones to do so, they do it when they get on WMATA buses or when they enter or exit metro station and trains. Again, families, every student has access to a Kid Ride Free card. The cards that students have from last school year will operate for the first month of school. But if a student has misplaced their card, all schools have been restocked with the cards for Kids Ride Free for this school year, and will begin distributing those cards day one. And so if your child does not have a card, please make sure that they get one first day of school. And if they already have a card, know that those cards currently are functional, or they can use their phone as well. And again, Dr. Ashley is going to share a little bit more about that. For school year 2025-26, it will be a year of change in the sense of a policy around cell phone use for our schools. This school year will be the first year across the entire DC public school landscape. In our 117 schools, we will have a phone-free environment. We believe that this has been a strong approach in many of our schools via our pilot program in middle schools, and also schools that have been implementing these practices across the district. And so most of our schools, it will be business as usual. But for many of our schools, this will be new, where we will be restricting cell phone use from bell to bell. So again, that's from the start of the school day to the end of the school day. Again, we know that this is a strategy that has been very effective in us reducing distraction, where students are more focused. It's also a strategy for student safety and mental health as well. As I mentioned earlier, we piloted this past 2 years a phone-free environment for all of our middle schools, and we've seen great results. I actually did a focus group with our middle school students as part of our engagement, And they acknowledge while they were resistant to the idea at first, they see that they are creating more effective relationship with their peers, and also they are less distracted in the classroom. And so we believe, based on the feedback we receive from students, families, our school administrators, that this strategy will serve our students well to ensure that they will thrive in their school, in their classroom. It's important to note that each school will have their own approach to device storage. So that will look different from school to school. Some schools may have storage bins or storage lockers for phones, or they'll be collected in pouches. And school communities have already communicated that and will continue to communicate all the practices. Again, this is not new for most of our schools. 70% of the schools have already restricted cell phone use during the day. So for 30% of our schools, this will be a new strategy, but we know that this shift will provide more opportunities for our students to authentically interact and engage with their peers, build relationships, and be focused on teaching and learning. On the topic of technology, I'm happy to turn it over now with more information to be shared from the DCPS Chief of Data and Technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Good evening, DCPS families. My name is Cyrus Barani, and I have the honor of leading the DCPS Technology Division. Under the leadership of Mayor Bowser and Chancellor Farabee, we launched the Empowered Learners Initiative back in 2020. Since then, DCPS has continued to invest every year in technology as our top priority to ensure our students learn the future-ready skills they need to be successful. Our educators also harness the power of technology to enhance student learning across our grade bands. In school year 25-26, we will continue to provide access to robust and up-to-date devices to all of our students. Students in grades 3 through 12 will have access to a dedicated laptop, while students in pre-K through K will share a device at a 3-to-1 ratio. We have also outfitted every classroom in the district with state-of-the-art smart boards that make teaching and learning fun and interactive. We have also made further investments in our internet infrastructure to make sure our internet speed and connectivity is at its optimal levels. With access to these technologies, it is also necessary to learn the skills needed to be safe online, to be effective and responsible as we use technology. And as such, we remain committed to ensuring that our students are great digital citizens inside and outside of school. Students will complete a series of digital citizenship lessons within the first few weeks of school. We have updated our courses to include AI lessons with the goal that students will feel empowered to use the latest tools available to them under proper supervision, guardrails, and guidance. You as parents and guardians play an important role beyond our classrooms, and you can support the knowledge of our students on how to be safe and responsible online through our family portal. You'll find some helpful tips and resources on that portal, and you'll see a link to that portal here on this slide. Thank you, and I will now pass it on to my colleague Cynthia to speak to you about attendance.
Thank you, Cyrus. I really appreciate that. Good evening, DCPS family, then welcome back. I'm so excited to welcome you all to school year 25-26. As a reminder, the first day of school is Monday, August 25th. I'm Cynthia Ruiz. I'm the Chief Integrity Officer here at DCPS, and I oversee attendance and enrollment, and we'll have some reminders around enrollment towards the end. Again, our first day of school is Monday, and I'm here to reiterate some of our friendly reminders around attendance. And just as a reminder, every day counts, right? So including starting day one. As a reminder to you all, attendance is legally required. Attendance does impact student grades. Attendance does help to account for student safety. And attendance does help us to sort of guide school and district planning as we figure out metrics, what's working well, how do we better support our families, and to ensure that our students are there every day. As a friendly reminder, our DCPS attendance policy is online. You can also call your school to get that information or the link that's available online for your review. It's a key resource to ensure that you are familiar with the definitions related to attendance, our protocols related to attendance, and then lastly, any information that you may not be aware of and you're looking for the right POC to contact, our attendance policy will have. Another reminder that I'm very excited to sort of introduce is that September is Attendance Awareness Month. So you will be hearing a little bit more from our schools and from the district level throughout the month of September as we celebrate and promote attendance, not just for the first day of school, not just for the first month of school, but throughout the school year for 25-26. Next slide, please. I am also thrilled to introduce to you all our newly sort of submit excuse notes in the parent portal. This is very exciting for us. This is a centralized system that every school and every parent will have an opportunity to submit notes into. Just a friendly reminder that schools will be able to take down their own school-based sort of excusal note form that currently exists. And this one will replace the one that your school may have had last school year. It's a very similar process, except that it will work through Aspen Go. And if you're familiar with online enrollment, it will be a very similar experience in which you will be able to let us know why you're absent, sort of describe the situation, the date, and all those sort of need to know information that the attendance PO at the school level would need to know in order to excuse the absence. Disclaimer that you will not get a notification back to see if it's approved or denied. The attendance POC will work directly with you all to make sure that if additional information is needed, that you're working directly with your attendance POC at the school level to either submit additional information or just have that conversation around these are the supports that my student needs to ensure that they're coming to school on time and coming to school every single day. And just lastly, that a policy reminder, and this hasn't changed, is not new. The parents have 5 days from when the student returns to school after being absent to turn in an excusal note. Again, that's critical to ensure that our attendance one is accurate and that we're documenting as appropriately if it's an excused absence or if it's unexcused absence, which ultimately does sort of roll up into our chronic absenteeism rate. Again, if you are needing additional supports or have additional questions related to this parent portal and excusal notes form, your attendance POC will be your best point of contact. We will be sending you all additional information over the next couple of days related to this and excited to share it with you. And if you have other questions before then and are interested in learning more about the process, you can find more information on our website. Next slide, please. And then lastly, how can I support my child with on-time and daily attendance? This is every year, sort of how the 2 weeks before school starts, where you're relearning your routines around sleeping schedules, bedtime routines, and morning routines. These are just some key reminders to ensure that we're ready for day one. So the night before, what is your routine? What is your schedule? Preparing your students' school bag, lunch, and clothes for the next day. And again, setting alarms and on your phone or on the alarm track to ensure that you are on time before school. Again, setting routines, having the daily habits, starting at pre-K to ensure that they're leaving the house on time. And after school, ensuring that there is a regular routine for homework, there's a regular routine for any after school activities, and really a routine to engage with friends and ensuring that the next day they're set up for success. And then lastly, throughout the year, just ensuring that we're all on the same page. Again, that every day matters and every day counts, and being in school every day, all day makes a difference, not just for you as parents, but for our students and their overall success. I think the last point that I want to make is please look at our school calendar. Please plan vacations appropriately. Please do not miss a day before or after our sort of scheduled vacations. It's really critical that our students are in school every single day. Again, any questions, the team is happy to support you all. Please do not hesitate to reach out to your attendance POC. I'm now going to kick it over to my colleague, Jose Lopez, the director in our ECE program.
Hey, Jose, can you hit your mute button?
Yeah, here you go. Thank you so much. We're excited to share new tools to help families and young learners transition smoothly into pre-K. Visit readyforpk.org to explore our family toolkit filled with practical tip sheets and short and engaging videos. We recommend families to read going to school books, which are perfect for helping your child know what to expect. Plan a visit to your child's future school. Let them explore the space and meet teachers and staff. Take photos during your visit and revisit the images at home to spark conversations and reduce anxiety. Talk about the daily routine at school and use this as an opportunity to create a visual schedule together. Create a goodbye ritual, whether it's a special hug, a handshake, or saying, having a consistent goodbye can help ease separation and start their day with a smile. Next slide. Here are a few important things to look forward to as your child begins the pre-K journey. Many schools are hosting summer play days. These are fun and informal opportunities for your child to meet classmates, become familiar with their teachers, and explore their new school environment. Your child's teacher will reach out to schedule a home visit, typically during the first 3 days of school. These visits are a special time for teachers to welcome your family to DCPS and begin building a strong family-school partnership. To help us better support your family, pre-K families will be asked to complete an interest survey early in the school year. Your school will provide more details about how and when to complete it. And most importantly, the first official day for pre-K will be on Thursday, August 28th. We can't wait to welcome you and your child to this exciting new chapter. So I'm passing it to my colleague, Corey.
Thank you very much, Jose, and good evening, DCPS families. My name is Corey Colgan. I am the Chief of Teaching and Learning, and I am also a fellow DCPS parent, also looking forward to the start of the 25-26 school year. At DCPS, we believe in joyful and rigorous learning experiences for all of our students. And one of the best ways to talk about the fun learning experiences we have in the classroom are to talk about cornerstones. Cornerstones have been a part of DCPS for years, and they continue to be a part of our strategic plan. These are memorable, high quality, experiential or hands-on learning opportunities that engage students all across in all of our schools, all across the district, in all of our schools, in authentic learning experiences. On the next slide, I'm going to highlight just a few of the cornerstones that your student may experience this year. Probably our most well-known cornerstone is our second graders who in their PE classes learn to ride a bike. And in addition to learning to ride a bike, they learn basic safety methods, they learn how to map out a route, and they plan and do a community bike ride. So that's an example of a wonderful elementary cornerstone. In our middle grades, I'd like to highlight Everyday DC, in where our students produce a photojournalism exhibit and have an opportunity to showcase their own story of their community and their city in a district-wide showcase in partnership with the Pulitzer Center. And in high school, a very popular cornerstone is the Life I Choose cornerstone, where students compose and perform original narrative poems and have the opportunity to present in a district-wide showcase for their fellow students and family members. Now, you may have heard that at DCPS, we are all math people. For the past couple of years, we have been living the dream. The dream is our DCPS road to equity and achievement in mathematics. So we want to make sure that you feel comfortable joining us in supporting your students in their math journey. One, you may recognize the curriculum that your student will be using depending on age. So in our early childhood classrooms, we have our building blocks curriculum. In our elementary schools, we have Eureka Math Squared, which I will talk more about in just a moment, as that is a new curriculum. And in our secondary schools, we use illustrative mathematics. We do have family unit overviews for all of our curriculum, so you can follow along and learn what students are learning about. And we also have parent university recordings, and these are sessions that we have held to help family members, adults in students' lives learn a little bit more about the approaches to teaching mathematics so you can feel a little more confident in supporting your student at home. I also want to highlight the blended learning programs that appear on the screen here, iReady, Zern, and Delta Math. Depending on your student's school, you will most likely have your students engaging in one or two of these learning platforms. They meet your students where they are and help them build the skills that they need in order to be successful in their math learning. And we do want to stress that while we want school to be challenging for students, we don't want your child to be overly frustrated with math or any of their learning. And if that is the case, or you notice that that is happening, we recommend that you take a note of any questions that they're having and reach out to their teacher. Additionally, and I will talk about this more in a moment, we do have homework help hotlines, so we have some other resources to support you if you're trying to work with your student at home. So on the next slide, I will share a little bit more about the new elementary math curriculum, as I mentioned. Many of you who are not new to DCPS will recognize the name Eureka Math, but now this curriculum is Eureka Math Squared. So this is a newer, updated version of the curriculum. What's great about this is that it uses many of the same math strategies from the previous Eureka curriculum that both our students and our teachers, as well as many of our parents, are familiar with. But it also provides upgraded and additional resources. One example of that is increased thinking and talking tools that help students do a better job of being able to use mathematical language to explain their thinking and their reasoning in solving problems. There are online and print handouts related to the curriculum that will be shared by schools. I mentioned before that you may want a little bit of support in helping students with homework or assignments where they may need a little additional guidance. And so we have a wonderful partnership both with our DCPS school librarians as well as the public library, and to support students in their learning. So our DCPS school libraries provide a lot of essential online support through reading programs. They have a program in particular called BrainFuse, which is a free homework and tutoring service that we are able to offer in partnership with the DC Public Library. If you click on the link or copy that bit.ly link, you can learn more about how you can access BrainFuse at home. I know as a parent, it is important for you to have information about how your student is progressing with the expectations of school, particularly with reading and math skills. And so I wanted to take a moment just to highlight some of the assessments that we have. Assessments play a critical part in the teaching and learning cycle because they help our educators support students on their path to successful grade level learning. So by using assessments, teachers can understand what students know, what they still need to learn, and how we can support them. And it's also really important information for you to have as a parent. So depending on your child's age in school, you will experience a different set of assessments, but to give a quick highline, in elementary school, if your child is in ECE, you will learn a little bit more about how they're progressing through early childhood skills through the GOLD assessment. In K through 2, DIBBLES gives us a very early indication of their foundational reading skills, and iReady gives us some insight into their math and reading skills, K5. If your child is in a dual language school, the Lectura and the iReady Español will give you information about how they're progressing with reading on Español. And all of our grade levels have required curricular tasks, which are classroom-based assignments which give teachers information about how students are meeting grade level standards. In middle school, you might look for iReady math scores and NWA MAP reading scores. We use the stamp for world language. And in high school, again, we have MAP reading, MAP science, MAP math, and stamp for world language. I make sure to name these things because if you have any questions, I want you to be able to speak to your school, your teachers or school leaders, and ask for information about how your student is progressing in these areas. And now I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Glenn Starnes, to give a little more specific information about some of the learning that happens in 6th and 9th grade specifically.
Thanks, Corey, and good evening all. We're really excited about an opportunity to share more about our 6th grade academies. As we all know, the transition grade from 5th to 6th is a critical moment in any student's middle school career. And so here in DC Public Schools, we offer 6th grade academies across 11 of our middle schools, as mentioned on the screen. Our 6th grade academies have dedicated staff and resources, which provide critical supports at those transition grades by customizing attendance, academics, and social and emotional supports for individual students' needs. We also work to ensure that we are facilitating increased family communication, and we provide quarterly signature experiences, which include hiking at Rock Creek Park and completing an outdoor ropes course, which all of our students have really been excited about since the establishment of our 6th grade academies in school year 23-24. Next slide. As we think about our 9th grade academies have been around for over a decade. And as you see in school year 13-14, we offer 9th grade academy supports in 10 of our high schools, with our newest school, MacArthur High School, coming on board as a 9th grade academy in this upcoming school year. Very similar to our 6th grade academies, our 9th grade academies have dedicated staff and resources. As we know, the critical transition grade from 8th to 9th is in fact a make or break year as we think about our students and their post-secondary success plans. One of the exciting moments is in our 9th grade academies, we are encouraging students to also take advantage of our quarterly signature experiences, which in the fall will be inclusive of opportunities to visit Oasis. In the spring, have opportunities to include our college visits, both here in the DC area and within the region. As we think about ensuring that our students are prepared for what's next, as the Chancellor mentioned, one of those opportunities is inclusive of our career and technical education programs. Across DC Public Schools, we have 29 career and technical education pathways that exist within our high schools. In addition to the 4 pathways which are available at the Advanced Technical Center through the Office of the State Superintendent of Education. These 29 career and technical education pathways span across 39 career academies in 18 high schools, in addition to River Terrace Education Campus. The career and technical education programs are rigorous opportunities that lead to college and career, and we're really excited about opportunities to expand our CTE programs into this upcoming year into many of our middle schools. And as you see on the screen, and as heard by Chancellor Farabee, we have increased the number of students that are engaging in our CTE programs for a number of years, and you can learn more about our CTE programs by visiting the website that is on the screen. Next slide. In addition to our CTE programs, we have a number of enrichment opportunities inclusive of our AP courses. As a part of our strategic plan to increase equitable access to enriching opportunities, this evening I want to highlight what that means in advanced placement courses. On the slide, you have a chance to see the number of advanced placement courses that students across our schools, particularly our high schools, are able to take advantage of. For many years now, DCPS has been increasing the number of students who enroll in AP courses and the percentage of students passing AP exams and thus earning. And if you or your student are unsure about AP courses, consider one of the AP Access courses that are available on the slide, but for sure, contact your child's school to learn more about the many AP courses that are available in our schools. In addition to AP, as noted on the next slide, we offer dual enrollment opportunities across our high schools. There are 5 amazing opportunities as we think about dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is yet another example as we think about advanced coursework, where students are having an opportunity to take advantage of college-level coursework during the regular school day and or after school. Here on the screen, you see a number of those opportunities. I do want to highlight the Advanced Technical Center, which offers programs in cybersecurity and nursing for students as early as 9th grade, in addition to our courses in the Ed Equity Lab, which are college courses taught virtually by our college professors, and they're during the regular school day, where our DCPS teachers are able to support students during the regular day, and it removes all barriers of transportation and scheduling. In addition to AP and dual enrollment, as noted on the next slide, all of our students have opportunities to participate in the PSAT and or the SAT. This testing is offered digitally, and it is available to all of our students during the regular school day at no cost. High schools are able to select their test day within the windows that are available on the screen. And we also offer SAT test preparation through our testing and college success courses at select high schools. For your specific SAT or PSAT school test date in the fall, I do encourage that you contact your school directly. And for your spring SAT date, those dates will be available in the near future. As we think about after-school programming, out-of-school time is a critical component to our students' success, and we, in fact, have something for everyone. As we think about out-of-school time, registration for DCPS out-of-school time programming has fully transitioned to the My Out-of-School Time DC, commonly referred to as Most DC portal. This new portal has improved how parents browse, show interest in, and apply for after-school programming across the district. Families can access this portal by visiting most.dc.gov, or this link is also available on the screen. Additional programs available across the city will be available by viewing this particular website beginning September the 15th, and we are really excited about the amazing outcomes that are coming as a result of students' engagement in our out-of-school time programs. And last but surely not least, as we think about after-school programming, DC Public Schools offers a number of sports offerings as early as 4th grade, all the way through our high school programs. In fact, there are over 900 sports teams that are available in DC Public Schools alone. I encourage you to visit our DC Public Schools website to learn more and to contact your school directly, as you will then learn which sport teams are available at your school specifically. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Chief Paige Hoffman, to talk more about immunizations and mental health.
Thank you so much, Glenn. And good evening, everyone. Like my colleagues before, I am just thrilled to welcome you all to the 25-26 school year. Since I was a DCPS student at Bunker Hill, I have loved this time of year. And this evening, I want to talk to you all about how we can work together to support the health and wellness of students this year. Next slide, please. This school year, there are a couple of updates I want to share. The first is that DC Health will be directly managing school health services. This includes nurse, staffing, medication training, and health screenings. Each of our schools will be staffed with a health professional, and DC Health makes those determinations based on the specific need of a school's population. As you prepare for the first day of school, please make sure that you have submitted all of your health documentation to your school. This includes the Universal Health Certificate and any other medical documents or plans so that we can support you in ensuring your child's health on day one. There's a link here as well if you need a copy of any of those forms. Next slide, please. Part of ensuring a healthy school environment is making sure that students are up to date on the required childhood immunizations. In grades pre-K 3, kindergarten, 7, and 11, students who are not up to date on vaccinations will be temporarily excluded from school beginning on December 8th. We will send numerous reminders leading up to this date, but if you ever have a question about your child's immunization status leading up to this, please make sure to contact the health suite at your child's school. There are also a number of opportunities to get caught up. DC Health has information about clinics around the city, and there's a link on the slide here so that you can see them based on ward. We really encourage you to check those out. And I will give a special plug as well to Heart, which is going to have a health hub on September 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. And looking ahead, I also want to make sure that we have the opportunity this evening to talk about mental health and wellness resources. So just so that everyone knows, every one of our schools has a school behavioral health coordinator. That coordinator is the liaison for the school mental health team. A school mental health team may include licensed social workers, psychologists, school counselors, and community-based partners. All of these individuals work together to provide comprehensive prevention for students, early intervention, and treatment services during the school day. We want to make sure that you all know who those providers are at your school. And so the DCPS mental health website has a comprehensive provider directory so that you know who is there to support students with some of the topics that you see listed on the screen. I also want to make sure that you know if there's an opportunity for you to make referrals as well. So if you're a parent or a caregiver and wish to make a mental health referral, please use the QR code that's here on the screen. We provide this form in multiple languages and you can access it directly on the website. Students are also able to self-refer using these forms, which are in school buildings, as well as by speaking directly with mental health providers in their schools. And as the school year starts, our mental health team goes into classrooms to introduce themselves. They may also host assemblies so that your students are aware of the resources in the building. I'm now going to transition to Deputy Chancellor of Finance and Operations, Dr. Patrick Ashley.
Thanks. Good evening, and thanks, Chief Hoffman. Good evening, DCPS community. I'm Patrick Ashley. I have the privilege of serving as the Deputy Chancellor for Finance and Operations. And like all of my colleagues, we're super excited to welcome all of you back to school on Monday. I'll cover a little bit about some of our finance and operations components. DCPS was very excited to, again, this year continue to work with Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice to coordinate the district's Safe Passage program. And so Safe Passage ambassadors will still remain active in neighborhoods identified as priority areas across the city to help ensure safe transit for our students as they go to and from schools. The role of Safe Passage ambassadors consists of canvassing and monitoring the neighborhoods and the routes to schools, redirecting and clearing students to make sure that they get to and from school, sharing of information and alerting supervisors of any challenges they might experience in the neighborhood. Safe Passage ambassadors can be identified by their green vest throughout the community. In addition to the Safe Passage ambassadors, DCPS will launch safety squads in all schools this year to strengthen student safety during arrival and dismissal. Safety squads will consist of trusted school-based staff who monitor students as they travel to and from schools. And squad members will support student safety within the school zone and can be easily identified by their yellow safety vest. As we think about the next school year, emergency preparedness is very important to us. We have streamlined emergency protocols district-wide to support alignment across all of our schools. All emergency incidents will now be activated through the use of the RAVE emergency alert system. The RAVE dispatches DC emergency personnel and central services response and support teams to all of our schools. To ensure successful implementation, all of our school leaders and their teams have been trained on emergency response protocols and receive training yearly. A quick note on statuses that we use at DCPS during emergencies in terms that you may hear. Alert status means no entry or exit into the school building. This applies to dismissal time as well, so parents will need to wait to pick up their children until the school has been removed from the alert status by MPD, the Metropolitan Police Department, or the DC Public Schools Police Department. There are times when there's a threat to students and staff safety. Reverse evacuation allows students and staff to safely return to the building when a school is about to enter an emergency status. School shelters in place for incidents such as strong winds, tornadoes, or environmental hazards. The safest place for our kids to be is inside of our school buildings. And you may be familiar with the term lockdown. Lockdowns can be internal or external threats, but during a lockdown, all instruction and programming stops, and there's no movement around the school buildings, and schools do not release any students, so there's no one that comes and goes from the building until cleared by the Metropolitan Police Department after a threat assessment. We also require our schools to regularly participate in emergency safety drills to make sure that our students and staff know what to do in an emergency. The first drill of the school year occurs within the first week of the school. That way, so our students know very early on what the procedures are for needing to evacuate the school or navigating emergencies when they're school. And these are things like fire drills and other safety drills. Fire drills do occur monthly, and then alternate drills occur 8 times throughout the school year to ensure that our students are prepared. We're proud of our food and nutrition program and making sure that our students have healthy and nutritious and tasty meals. Just want to take the moment to remind individuals that breakfast is free for all DCPS students, as well as after-school supper and snack for students who stay after school for education and enrichment activities. Within our schools, 97 of our schools are serving lunch completely at no charge, thanks to the Community Eligibility Program. And you can find additional information about the Community Eligibility Program at the DCPS food webpage, which is listed on the screen. For those who qualify for financial assistance for meal payments, we encourage you to complete a free and reduced meal application. Scan the QR code on the screen for more information. And we often get questions about the nutrition content of our meals. While we want to make sure that our meals are tasty, we also want to make sure that they are healthy. We follow very high nutrition standards under the DC Healthy Schools Act and in our local wellness policy. And you can find more information about that on the website listed on the screen. And if you have any questions about our meal programs, please feel free to reach out to our food and nutrition services team. Last, I want to share that we have created some shared norms for this year as we continue to focus on best supporting teaching and learning and maintaining a safe learning environment. As we transition to thinking about how we're getting to and from school each day, as the Chancellor mentioned, we continue to benefit from the Mayor's Kid Rides Free initiative for students who use the Metro system or the Metro buses. And all of our schools have an inventory of Kids Rides Free card that are available on the first day of school. All of the current Kids Ride Free cards, as the Chancellor mentioned, are currently active and available for use until September 30th. But it is important to make sure that they do pick up a new Kids Ride Free card on the first day of school. And as a reminder, there is a Kids Ride Free app in the Apple Wallet and the Android Wallet, so that if individuals want to be able to use that, they can use a virtual card in lieu of a plastic card. Talking about Aussie transportation, this year the Office of the State Superintendent for Education has asked all parents who are eligible for transportation through their programs to sign up through the parent portal so that you can let them know your preferences and ensure your information is correct. And if your student is eligible for Aussie transportation, but do not plan to utilize this service, you still need to let them know. so that we're able to work with them to prioritize resources and plan appropriately. You should have received direct communication from the Office of the State Superintendent for Education about that program, or you can reach out to your child's school. As always, we had a lot of work that happened on our buildings throughout the summer, and I'm excited to share a few of the projects that we're delivering for school opening. But before we talk about our school that we're delivering, we also want to mention that we have a number of schools that are operating out of swing space locations throughout the city. We're very excited about these because these 7 schools means that their schools are under construction, and we're excited to deliver those projects in the coming years. Earlier this year, we opened the newly modernized Brown Education Campus for pre-K 3 through 8th grade. And this summer, we're proud to open 2 more newly modernized buildings, Truesdale Elementary in Ward 4 for pre-K 3 through 5, and the Oyster Adams Bilingual School Campus in Wards 3 for grades 4 through 8. We're really excited to welcome you to those new spaces, and they're quite beautiful. In addition, as our communities continue to grow, we're continuing to invest dollars into our facilities that aren't necessarily full modernizations, but how that we continue to make improvements and expand our facilities. This fall, we're excited to be opening a classroom addition at Stoddard. We conducted a ribbon cutting earlier this week, a kitchen and cafe addition at Plummer, and a child development center at Minor Elementary School. I will now turn it back to Deputy Chief Brown.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashley. Okay, so we had, just want to thank everybody. There were so many questions, thoughtful questions that were submitted upon registration. Many of the questions that were submitted hopefully were answered in the content that we covered this evening, but I did want to just raise a few that from some themes that we identified here. And so let's see, this we didn't talk too much about. Chancellor, would you mind sharing with the community here, how is the school calendar impacted as a result of snow days? That came up quite a few times in our Q&A online.
Yeah, so we built snow days into the calendar for the school year. If we need to use those days, we'll begin with the ones that are incorporated into the calendar. If we exceed that, we'll make adjustments, and we'll communicate those adjustments to families as early as possible. But we are hoping for a mild winter, and hopefully we don't have to use the days that are designated in our calendar.
Thank you so much for that. We had an opportunity to talk, of course, at the top of the meeting about our cell phone policy, but there were quite a few questions that came through asking about how elementary school level is impacted by the new cell phone policy. We have Deputy Chancellor Bay with us this evening. Would you be able to come off mic and answer that for us?
Good evening. Sure, Lauren, yes, I can. Good evening, everyone. And so as was mentioned previously, at the start of the year, all of our schools from elementary through high school will adhere to the new cell phone policy, in which cell phones must be stored during bell to bell during the school day. And so what that means is that students will not use their phones during the day, which will include during lunch and passing periods. So if they're transitioning, even in elementary school, they will not be permitted to use their phones. This approach is designed to support student achievement and focus during the day, as you heard from the Chancellor earlier. What we've found, as the Chancellor already indicated, is that most schools have already had practices in place as it relates to cell phones. But if this approach is new at your school, including elementary schools, your school leader sent a communication in August with details about how storage will work. And what that will look like. And so if you have any additional questions about specific schools' approaches, please reach out to your school principal or your school leadership team for more information.
Thank you for that. And there were quite a few families who asked questions about mental health supports. And I know Chief Hoffman, you had a chance to talk about that, but I'm want to ask one more, which is what supports are offered to students to help them with effective communication, conflict resolution, so those non-academic pro-social behaviors. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, what a great question. I'm so glad that folks raised this. So 3 years ago, DCPS created the first SEL skills and standards that include the underlying skills that make up conflict resolution, communication. So think about self-awareness, self-management, social and cultural awareness, relationship skills, how we demonstrate agency. And those skills ultimately shaped OSSE's district-wide social emotional learning standards, which go across all grade bands. This year, we're really excited because the foundation for all of these things begins in our early childhood classrooms. And every single early childhood classroom will have a strong start that's grounded in the science of learning and development and those social emotional skills that'll carry your child from pre-K 3 through their journey at DCPS and graduation. In elementary school, we also share those skills on every student's report card. And those come with feedback from their teacher about their strength areas and where they've shown growth over the course of the year. The report card also comes with suggestions for ways that families can support SEL skills at home. Additionally, we've piloted a curriculum integration of social emotional learning skills in schools as part of a larger interdisciplinary curriculum redesign project. And we have more of those lessons coming this year that really support those specific skills and building them into the curriculum. So we are tackling this from multiple ways and are really excited about the focus that families also have on this. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much, Chief Hoffman. It's hard to imagine, but the time has flown by so incredibly quickly, and I want to make sure that we're respectful of folks' time this evening. And I know the Chancellor has a few announcements to sort of wrap up the evening, so I'm going to pass the mic back to you, Chancellor Farabee.
Thank you, Chief Brown. Again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Before I get back into the announcements of the evening, I do want to go back to an important topic I know that was top of mind from the opening that many may have missed. I know many of you joined on time may have heard this before, but again, I'll just remind everyone that we don't anticipate any changes in the way that our school and our school communities engage with law enforcement. I know that the increased presence of law enforcement currently in the city right now is top of mind, but we don't believe this will have impact on the way schools operate or our current postures for students and families. I also want to remind everyone that all of our school leaders have been advised on our protocols for student records, and they understand that student records are protected under FERPA and can only be shared with parental consent or lawful court order. We also want to remind everyone that any law enforcement action on school ground can only take place with a valid warrant or also a court order. Our administrators have been trained on engagement with law enforcement should law enforcement come to schools. They're clear on who should be notified, communications to their supervisor, and also to the DCPS General Counsel for immediate assistance. And then finally, I also want to be clear that Metropolitan Police Department officers will respond to schools in the way that they always have. They currently report to Chief Smith, the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, and all of the Metropolitan Police Department school resource officers who serve schools are not performing any duties related to immigration or customs enforcement. And we do not anticipate any changes to how the Metropolitan Police Department engages with our schools. So we anticipate business as usual in that regard. I just want to make sure that that's super clear, especially that is top of mind given the elevated presence in our city right now. Thank you again to all of our families for joining us this evening. Those of you that shared questions, hopefully we've been able to clarify those questions. But before we conclude, I have several announcements I want to make sure is top of mind for everybody before we close out the evening. The first is just a reminder for enrollment. This really helps us plan for students for the school year and want to be sure that students get off to a great start. So please enroll if you haven't done so already for the 2025-2026 school year. You can do so by going to the enrolldcps.dc.gov to enroll. Again, that's enrolldcps.dc.gov. There's a step-by-step process, and we give you information about that. And this is for students that are new to DCPS, but also for our returning families as well. So if you're coming back to DCPS, reminder, you still have to do enrollment. And if you have any questions or if you need technical support, please email the DCPS enrollment team at enroll@k12.dc.gov, or you can call them directly at 202-478-5738. Again, 202-478-5738. I believe this was mentioned earlier, but I want to remind families that we are excited about our parent university that's returning this school year. Lots of great information to help your child at home. Parent University offers workshops, resources to help parents and caregivers support their child's educational journey, and also more connected with the local school community. So great opportunity. You can register for the upcoming workshops by visiting bit.ly/DCPS Parent U 25. The next reminder is around our special education parent resource and information sites. DCPS is committed to sharing information and resources for students receiving special education services. We have a special education family guide with information, including the individualized education program toolkit for students with IEPs, steps needed for a referral process if you think your child needs services. So just a wealth of information that we want families to have access to. For more information, please visit our Special Education Family Guide website using the QR code that is on the screen. So again, use the code. Even if your child is not receiving services, you think they're eligible, again, we walk you through the steps to making a referral. You can also contact your school special education coordinator or connect with your child teacher, or you can email us at dcps.sped, the next reminder is around our language access services. So DC proudly serves a diverse student population. We have more than 8,000 multilingual learners and over 12,900 that are considered linguistically and culturally diverse. So we offer translation and interpretation services for students and for families as well. All families have the right to request an interpretation in a language that they understand, regardless of whether their bilingual staff are immediately available. So we want to make sure that you know that this resource is available to you. A service called the Language Line is available for translation services, and all of our schools have been trained on how to use it to serve our diverse families here in the district. If you need any additional assistance or have questions, please feel free to reach out to the Language Acquisition Division with the email and phone number that you see here on the slide. They'll be happy to assist you with any needs you have with interpretation, and we're happy to do any translation that is needed as well. The next reminder I'm really excited about and going to close with, and that is the DCPS Back to School Block Party. We know how to throw a block party. This is our annual celebration to start the school year. This year, the block party will be on Saturday, September the 13th at Jackson Reed High School. You don't want to miss it. We start at 11 a.m. in the morning. We go to 2 p.m. There's food, activities for students, along with resources for families. So we hope to see you there. That's Saturday, September 13th at Jackson Reed High School. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Grateful for your participation. As I started, families are so critical to an exceptional experience for our young people in their school community. It truly takes a village, and we know families are a key partner in our students' educational journey. Thanks for all you do. Before we sign off tonight, we love to hear your feedback, so please take a moment to share your feedback. And again, thank you for joining us, and I'm wishing everyone a successful school year for school year 2025-26. Thank you.